From uncertainty to certainty, how can educators lead schools during this pandemic in improving the spectrum of online education and e-learning? May I begin by asking everyone a very simple question. By when do you think the COVID crisis will disappear from this planet? Well, a corollary to the same question. Even if it ends, how soon do we expect educational institutions to regain normalcy? While assumptions vary worldwide, it is an understood fact that we will be bearing the bolt of COVID-19 for a long haul now, as per the latest WHO reports. I'm certain that this pandemic has taught all of us a new perspective of teach from home and study from home, which is henceforth going to be the new mantra for teachers and students worldwide. Being a director of 4 schools led me to investigate new methods and approaches so that online teaching could be made more interesting for our students. So today I'm going to discuss an innovative approach called flipped learning. Flipped learning means that education will no longer be confined to 4 walls of a classroom, nor be the sole space for connecting a teacher with her students. In this new pedagogical approach, group learning spaces such as a classroom will move to individual learning spaces such as homes. This fosters dynamic and interactive learning. When a teacher flips a classroom, students are not sure how to tackle a flipped course. What should they expect? What will the advantages and the disadvantages be? We will go over all these points shortly, but first let me start by explaining the concept of a flipped classroom. In a traditional class, the teacher teaches a new topic. Then students go home and complete assignments given by their teacher. Whereas in a flipped classroom, this process is completely reversed. First, students are assigned videos, podcasts, mind maps, etc., along with the chapter to read at home prior to coming to class. When students come to class, they discuss their queries and often work in small groups in the presence of a teacher. Less sit and listen equals more do and learn, hence making class time more enjoyable. In a flipped classroom, the teacher does not present the chapter in class in a boring lecture format. It is very important for students to research the topic before class. During class, teachers can conduct a quiz at the beginning of class to make sure everyone has understood the topic. Moreover, when students come to class, they are expected to have researched their topic beforehand. Few students may not understand everything, but they needn't worry because the teacher will make sure to provide ample opportunities for students to ask questions. In fact, one of the main advantages of flipped learning is that by not having to cover the easy concepts in class, more time is left for the teacher to focus on the harder concepts. When students go through the matter at home and have trouble understanding any topic, they note down questions and points that they want the teacher to go over in class. This helps the teacher know which topics need more explanation and group discussion. Now, why do you think a teacher needs to flip her classroom? Well, there are many studies that demonstrate that students in flipped classroom develop a better understanding of the teaching material. And by better, I don't just mean deeper, but also longer lasting. You will be happy to know that statistically, 88% of students in a flipped classroom get better grades than in a traditional classroom. And 99% teachers said they would use this methodology in all their classes. Many students find flipped classroom more rewarding but more harder because teachers are likely to shift focus from memorization of concepts to application of concepts, which is much harder to do. So initially, flipping can be disorienting. So here is some first-hand advice on how to get your bearing in a flipped classroom. First of all, your students must try and have a clear picture of what the teacher wants them to achieve. Most teachers will clearly identify learning objectives for each unit. As students work through their topics and units, they can relate to their goals. This will also help students make sure they are on the right path. Secondly, during class time, teachers must make sure students are active. It is mainly their interaction that will determine their grades. Keep them engaged creatively and allow them to make mistakes. Flipped classrooms provide teachers many opportunities to test students' understanding and get a feedback on it before exams. So take advantage of this possibility. The flipped learning approach is gaining momentum at LHS Gwalior. Our teachers who have tried it said they would recommend it to other educators too, as they find the system very interactive and innovative, and it has inspired them to let go of their traditional methods and usher in new pedagogy into their classrooms through the use of videos, screencasts, podcasts, mind maps, etc. Teachers at LHS Gwalior opine that flipped classrooms have enabled them to spend more time with average students while allowing more advanced learners the freedom to work ahead. This has specially helped them to ensure effective learning and improving of grades in students. On an average, 8 out of 10 flipped teachers at LHS Gwalior have more than 6 to 10 years of traditional educational experience, and switching to flipped learning has been a real boon to them. Lockdown has not proved to be a barrier but an opportunity for innovation during online teaching by our faculty at LHS. Our teachers have customized the syllabus of each class to meet the students' learning needs during lockdown through beautiful personalized video lectures, interactive online classes, quizzes, group discussions, etc. So what do educators who use flipped learning approach have to say? Mentors saw an improvement in student test scores after utilizing the flipped learning model in their classrooms. 80% reported an improvement in study motivation. Teachers reported that the flipped learning model benefits a wide range of students, from the academically advanced to those with special needs and slow learners too. Teachers themselves stand to benefit most from this teaching approach, according to a recent survey. 88% of flipped learning instructors reported improved teaching learning outcomes after flipping their classrooms. And you won't believe it, 99% said they would use the methodology in all their classes. Let's have a look at some of the parent observations. An important benefit of flipped learning method is that students are able to learn more deeply and retain material better. Since they have more ownership over the learning process and receive frequent feedback, students are able to gain a more complete understanding of the content. Classrooms that incorporate flipped learning offer more opportunities to interact and learn from other students. With guidance from teachers, students work together to solve problems and apply new concepts, which in turn creates a stronger learning community. Now let me end by saying flipped learning reframes the role of instructors and students, transforming their relationship in the classroom. Teachers who can successfully incorporate technology-based approaches like flipped learning into their classrooms are at the forefront of modern education. So friends, it's time to FLIP, flip. It's time to combine the best elements of traditional teaching with modern requirements. It's time to usher into the era of flipped learning.